When C.J. McElroy first conceived the Safari Club International Foundation in the early 1970s, a major goal was to conserve wildlife for future generations. Today, SCI Foundation continues to champion sustainable use wildlife conservation and educate people of all ages about the importance of hunting to science-based wildlife management.
Contrary to popular opinion, Safari Club International and the Foundation are not just about big game hunts, overseas trips and Asian trips like that. Safari Club is out there on the front lines fighting for hunters' rights.
Having grown up in SCI, I support it for many reasons, but I look at it as a family, first and foremost.
I support SCI Foundation because it is the most effective, most efficient, and most successful conservation organization that I can find.
As a hunter, it's really important that we give something back. We do whatever is possible to make sure that the future is there, that our kids and our grandkids and their kids are going to have the wildlife that we enjoy.
What I love about the foundation is that you have the ability to focus on essentially the conservation of conservation. It's our purpose to preserve the tools, the sustainability, teach and educate the public, the youth, about how we utilize nature.
What we try to do chapter to chapter is affect locally, one child here and one child there. Talk to the child. And that's what's important, is that you are touching them to influence their life.
That's really what Safari Club Foundation is all about, is working on the ground in so many projects around the world to actually conserve wildlife, and then also to educate the youth and try to either bring them into the process or at least make them understand how essential a role we play in wildlife conservation.
Since its inception, SCI Foundation has raised and donated over $60 million for worldwide conservation and education efforts. With its roots embedded deep in North America's conservation model of sustainable use management, the group has expanded into a worldwide force for wildlife, establishing and funding projects in wildlife conservation, outdoor education, and humanitarian services.
Obviously, the key to success is not the older people that have earned their way through life. The key to success is to be able to promote the youth that are maybe non-hunters, that want to be hunters, to encourage them with regard to conservation and education.
There's so much misinformation within our education system through the media that it's important that we do as much as we can to get the kids out of the house, into the outdoors, and get them exposed to what potential there is.
The Safari Club International Foundation spends over 60% of our donors' money in North America. We're involved with the white-tailed deer, we're involved with the caribou, we're involved with any number of projects just here in North America.
Safari Club International Foundation's conservation efforts include grants for wildlife research, wildlife or species reintroductions, habitat improvement, and land management.
There's a lot about SCI that people don't realize. Obviously, the first thing that comes to most people's minds is the hunting, but it's so much more than that.
SCI Foundation's humanitarian services programs include Sportsmen Against Hunger, donations of wild game meat to feed the hungry, sensory safaris, bringing a unique conservation message to vision-impaired adults and children through the sense of touch, and Pathfinder programs, providing wounded veterans and chronically ill with unique outdoor experiences.
I can't tell you how many of these hunts I've done, how many vets I've taken out, And it's just a huge, huge impact on these guys. To come back and to sit around.
He came up to me that afternoon and hugged me, and he said, "This is the best day of my life since I've been home in the past 3 years." Things like that the foundation it participates in, there aren't words that can describe, how it makes you feel to be a part of it.
It feels good. I mean, it obviously feels good to help people instead of just taking all the time. To have compassion and empathy. It helps me stay grounded, probably puts a lot of things in perspective for me when I get maybe upset over some ridiculous little thing in life.
SCI Foundation continues to gain momentum through charitable donations from SCI members and direct grants from local chapters and Safari Club International. Throughout the world, SCI, its members, and nearly 190 local chapters contribute time, talent, and financial support to local, national, and international SCI Foundation projects.
That's one of the reasons why I think it's so important to be part of the foundation and part of Safari Club, is that it's for all hunters, the whitetail hunters, the black bear hunters, the duck hunters. A lot of them don't realize what we do in the background, that we're really supporting them every single day by our efforts in Washington, D.C., on state levels, and even in our local communities.
The purpose of donating to an organization such as Safari Club International Foundation is solely selfish. It's because I want to hunt. It's because I want to have my son go out and hunt. And without the conservation, it doesn't matter if there's a hunter or First for Hunters or an organization that puts on an amazing convention. If there's not the animals and the wild places, it doesn't exist.
For more information on how you can become active in SCI Foundation, log on to safariclubfoundation.org.